number 9, biomolecules. That means the molecule you can find in a living organism. We have discussed a few basic molecules, specifically organic molecules that you can find in a living organism. Like we have finished with amino acids, nucleic acids, lipid, carbohydrate, etc. Now we are starting with somewhat a larger size molecules which are going to be confirmed or they are going to be formed from it. So today students we have to learn regarding a protein. Okay, what is a protein and how it is going to be formed. During the learning of amino acid we learned that the amino acids are the building block of proteins. Amino acids are the building block of proteins. So you can say that the proteins are made up of amino acids. In a protein, the basic unit that is present is amino acid, or the building block of that protein is amino acid. So the basic unit that is present in it is amino acid. There are many amino acids and they form a protein. You might have heard the protein. You want to consume a proteinaceous diet because the protein has very important role in our body that we will see. But that protein is made up of amino acids. Okay, so the building block of that proteins are amino acids. So they are, you can say in another language, they are polymer of amino acids. They are the polymer of amino acids. Okay, so the many amino acids, polymer means many amino acids, they combine together and forms a protein. Here you know that many amino acids, but there are different types of amino acid, and you know that there are 20 different types of amino acid. What we have already learned during the discussion of amino acids. 20 different types of amino acids are present. Now one thing is clear, the proteins are made up of many amino acids. There are 20 different types of amino acid. From them 20 amino acids, you know the few names like serine, methionine, cysteine, tyrosine, tryptophan, alanine, valine, etc. Many names you know. Even aspartic acid, glutamic acid, histidine, arginine, lysine, 20 such different types of amino acids are present. So in the structure of this protein, all the amino acids they are present. It contains many amino acids. But now the question comes whether all the amino acids they are present in the structure of protein are of same type. Means બધા alanine જ હશે કે બધા valine હશે અથવા એક alanine, એક valine, એક glycine, एक glutamic acid એવું अलग-अलग હશે. Whether all the amino acids they are present in the structure of protein are same or not. So the answer is they are not same. So the protein is not homopolymer. Is not homopolymer. Clear? Homo means same. The units they are present in it, that means amino acids, all the amino acids present in it are not same. That's why it is not a homopolymer. But they are different, and as they are different, the proteins are, or protein is heteropolymer. What kind of it is? Heteropolymer. Okay, so remember what the protein is. The protein is heteropolymer. Okay, so this is the nature of the protein. I again repeat, what is a protein? Protein are the polymers of amino acids. There are 20 different types of amino acids. Protein is not a homopolymer. That means the amino acid present in its structure are not same. They are different, hence we are calling it as heteropolymer. Okay, now there are different types. So here you know that there are 20 different types of amino acids are present. From these 20 different types of amino acids, these amino acids are categorized into two types. How many types? Two types. First is called as essential amino acid. Essential amino acids. And the second one is called as non-essential amino acid. Non-essential amino acid. How many different types of amino acids are there? Two different types of amino acids are there, essential and non-essential. These all 20 different types of amino acids are categorized into only two, essential and non-essential. What is essential amino acids? Essential amino acids are the amino acids which are compulsorily required in your diet, in your food. તમે જે ખાવાનું લો છો એની અંદર આ compulsory present હોવા જ જોઈએ, because our body cannot make it. So that's why they are called as essential amino acids. Which are called as non-essential amino acids? Non-essential amino acids are the amino acids which are not compulsorily required in your diet. તમારા ફૂડમાં હોય તો બી ખરું, ના હોય તો બી વાંધો નથી. So they are not compulsorily required in your diet. So that's why they are called as non-essential amino acid. Why they are not compulsorily required in your diet? Because these amino acids can be prepared by our body itself. So even if you don't get it in your diet or food, then also it will fulfill your requirements. Okay? And even in the structure of a protein, if any single amino acid is absent, the protein cannot be formed. And if the protein is not formed, obviously their function does not occur in our body. Okay, so that's why these are called as non-essential amino acids. So in short, the essential amino acids are compulsorily required in a diet because they are not prepared by our body. Non-essential amino acids, they are not compulsorily required in your diet because these amino acids can be prepared by our body. Okay, so that's why they are categorized into two categories, essential amino acid and the non-essential amino acids. Okay, now there are many functions of a protein. So let's discuss which are the functions of a protein. So what are the functions of a protein? There are many functions. So here I am going to start with the functions of proteins. Protein has number of roles. First role of this protein is that it is going to be constituent of many organelles and organs. Many organelles and organs or tissue. Clear? Like I will tell you, cell membrane is made up of lipids and protein. This example you have already learned it. Cell membrane. So here the cell membrane is made up of lipid and protein. Protein is a constituent of this organelle, cell membrane. Similarly, if you see your muscle, the muscles are made up of protein called as actin and myosin. Actin and myosin, ACTIN, actin. Myosin, MYOSIN, myosin. They are proteins. Barabar je? So muscles are made up of actin and myosin. Even you might have heard that when you want to build up your body, you need a protein diet. When you are going into a gym, they are giving you a protein shake or protein, because to make the muscle, the proteins are necessary. So ultimate point, one of the first function is that it is a structural component or it is a constituent of many organelles and organs. Even your hair is made up of protein like keratin. Your nail, that is also made up of a protein called as it. Even your skin, that also contains the proteins. So the proteins are present as a structural component in many tissues, organs and organelles. So this is the first function. The second function of this protein, okay, it can act as a receptor. Protein can act as receptor. Receptor means it is a sensing thing that is present in our body. Sensing, which sensing? Like the taste, smell. Okay, so this is a senses, taste and smell. Okay, so how we taste it? Once we keep a food on our tongue, the tongue contains the receptors. These receptors are made up of protein, and which can sense which kind of taste it is, whether it's a sweet or it's a spicy, whether it's a sour or something else. Okay, so that taste is due to receptors. Even the smell is also due to receptors, and these receptors are made up of proteins. So the protein can act also as a receptor, a sensing mechanism in our body. So these are the two functions. The third function of the protein I'm writing down over here. Okay, what is the third function of a protein? The third function of a protein is that it can act as a transporter. It can act as a transporter. Okay, like for an example, I will give you an example. GLUT4. GLUT4, it's a name of a protein. This GLUT4 is utilized for transport of glucose molecule in the intestine. In the intestine, you know that once a digestion process completes, in a small intestine, the digestion process complete, the glucose that is present in the intestine that gets absorbed or transported from intestine into a blood. So the role of this transportation is achieved by GLUT4, G-L-U-T, GLUT4. And GLUT4 is a protein, so thus it can act as a transporter. Even the many enzymes are also protein in nature. Their enzymes are also protein in nature. Like for example, I will give you example. You can say trypsin, pepsin. These are few examples. Chymotrypsin, etc. The enzymes are made up of a protein. Even most of the enzymes are made up of a protein. Most of. Okay, so they are made up of proteins. Next functions, even few hormones. Hormones can also act as a protein. Like for an example, insulin. Insulin is a hormone that is going to be produced from the pancreas. Okay, even the hormones of anterior pituitary gland, like growth hormone. Okay, or you can say a thyroid stimulating hormone or follicle stimulating hormone. They are the peptides or protein in nature. Means few hormones are also made up of protein. Like for an example, insulin or growth hormone or TSH or FSH. Okay. Even it can also act as or it help in fighting against the disease. The protein also help to fight against disease. Like for an example, I will tell you. The antibody, okay, the antibody that is present in our body, they help to fight against the disease. Okay, so this antibody are made up of a protein. So the protein also help us to fight against the diseases. So these are the few of the important functions of protein. Which are they? I again repeat. It is a structural component of many tissues, organs, organelles, and other things. Protein can act as a receptor and thus we can sense variety of senses like taste, smell. The protein can act as a transporter, help in the transport of molecule. Like for an example, GLUT4 is used for transporting glucose molecule. Many enzymes are made up of protein, or you can say all enzymes are made up of protein like pepsin, trypsin, etc. Few hormones are made up of protein like insulin, growth hormone, TSH, FSH, etc. They also help to fight against the diseases, okay, or they fight against the pathogens, okay. An example is antibody. Instead of writing the disease, infectious disease, I should write the pathogens, more specific word, so you can understand. Because the disease can be classified into two types: infectious disease and non-infectious disease. The antibody help to fight against infectious disease, which is occur by bacteria, virus, fungi, etc. So this protein has a role. So who will do this infectious disease? Pathogen. So they help against the pathogen. The antibody kills this pathogen or bad microbes which attack on us. Okay, and thus it is helping it against it. So these are the functions of proteins. That means it indicates that the protein is necessary for us. Now it is clear from this much that the proteins are the polymer of amino acids. So many amino acids join or combine or bonded together and it forms a protein. So how the formation of bond occurs in a protein? How two amino acid joins, that now we are discussing what kind of bond present in the structure of a protein. So let's discuss which kind of bond is present. Now here see, you know that the proteins are made up of amino acids. So now I am joining the amino acids, the building block of protein. See, this is a structure of one amino acid. You know that. To a alpha carbon, NH2 and COOH, carboxylic acid are attached. To a one side there is a presence of hydrogen, on the another side there is a R1. Clear? This is a structure of one amino acid. Okay? Now, two amino acids are combined. So I am combining the another amino acid. This is another amino acid. C, H, NH2, I will written like this, NH2, COOH, and here it is R2. So I am changing the color so you can recognize it, R2. Why I am changing the color? Because it's a here it's a R1, it's a R2. Proteins are not homopolymer, they are heteropolymer. So these three are remain same. આ ત્રણ તો દરેક વખતે સેમ જ હોય છે. બદલાય છે શું? Just R1 ને R1. The R functional group they gets changed. It may be methyl, it may be hydrogen, it may be hydroxymethyl or any other else. And thus it keeps on changing. Because the proteins are homopolymer, they are not homopolymer, they are heteropolymer. એટલે આ બે અમીનો એસિડ અલગ જ હોય, ક્યારે સેમ ના હોય. બરાબર? એટલા માટે ફરક ખાલી શેમાં હોય? R functional. Now how they combine, how there is a formation of bond occurs between them. So here from this the OH group, and from this only one H group. Here remember there are two H and H2 amino group. So from 2H only one H, and from this two OH group they gets a removed. Now combine OH and H. OH from this and H from this. So OH and H they combines together and forms H2O. Okay? And now what happens? So what is going to be formed? Clear? See here. What is going to be formed? First NH2. Here. Next C. Then H. Here it's an R1. Now here CO. Because OH has been removed over here. OH has been removed over here. Okay? Even from this the one H is removed. So what is remaining? It's a NH, CO and H. Then again C, H, COOH, and here it is R2. So here you can see that there is a formation of a bond between two amino acids. This bond formation occurs between these two. And this bond, this CONH bond, it can be called as peptide bond. Which one is called as? Peptide bond, CONH bond, and thus two amino acids are joined. So in the structure of protein, the amino acids are joined by a bond. Which bond they are connected? They are connected by a peptide bond. Similarly, the one more amino acid can attach, because not only two amino acids. When two amino acids are attached, we are calling it as dipeptide. What we are calling? Dipeptide. If three, tripeptide. Many, we are calling it as polypeptide. Okay? So in the structure of protein there is a polypeptide chain. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Many amino acids have attached like this. Like one amino acid, I am just giving a number. This is a first. Then it is connected to another amino acid, second, third, fourth, fifth, okay, sixth, and many. Okay? And they are not same. They are different type. They are different type, and thus a long chain is going to be formed. બરાબર? ધીમે 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 અટેચ થતા જશે. But what is going to happen? On the one side there is a presence of functional group called as NH2, and on the another side there is a functional group called as COOH. Even you can also see here. Here it's a NH2 and here it's a COOH. The remains are free. Left side NH2, and the right side the COOH remains are free. So this NH2 which remains are free, this is called as N-terminal. What it is called as? N-terminal. From NH2 from N. And here the COOH remains are free. This is called as C-terminal. It's called as C-terminal. And thus a bond formation occurs in the structure of a protein. Okay? Thus many units combine together and that leads to a formation of a protein. Okay? So that's all about it. The bond formations which occurs in the structure of a protein. Now we have to see the different types of structures of a protein. Okay, so let's discuss which are the structures of protein. This is a bond formation. A peptide bond is present. Peptide bond is present in the structure of amino acid. Now we have to see how many different types of structures of amino acid are there. So let's discuss a structure of protein. Structure of protein. How many different types of structure of protein are there? There are 4 different types of structure of protein. First, primary structure. Second, secondary structure. Third, tertiary structure. And fourth, quaternary structure. How many different types of the structures of protein are there? There are 4 different types of structures of protein are there. Primary structure, secondary structure, tertiary structures and the quaternary structure. Let's discuss what kind of the arrangement of amino acid that you can say a different types of structure. Okay, so let's start with the first one, primary structure. So what is a primary structure? In the primary structure, the amino acid, this is amino acid 1, amino acid 2, amino acid 3, okay, amino acid 4, and so on. Many amino acids, they are attached in a linear line, they are attached linearly, okay. So there is a linear arrangement of this amino acid. This is called as primary structure. From the primary structure, what you can come to know that how many number of amino acids are there, which is a first, which is a second. That means you can also determine what is the sequence of amino acid. કોઈકમાં કદાચ પહેલો એલેનિન હોય, બીજો વેલિન હોય, ત્રીજો ગ્લાયસિન હોય. બીજા કોઈકમાં પહેલો ફિનાઇલ એલેનિન હોય, ત્રીજો second tyrosine હોય, next tryptophan હોય. So that is the sequence of amino acid. So by a primary structure you can come to know that which is how many number of amino acids are present in structure of protein, as well as you can also know the sequence of amino acid that is present in it. And as I have already told you that one end of it is called as N-terminal, the another end is called as C-terminal. It's called as C-terminal. One end is called as N-terminal, the another one is called as C-terminal, because on the left side NH2 group remains free, on the right side the COOH carboxylic acid group remains free. So that is about the primary structure. But many times such simple structure is not observed in a living organism. In living organism somewhat complex structure is observed, like this one. This is called as secondary structure. Okay, so amino acid 1, here there is an attraction of a between 2 amino acids due to a presence of other bonds, like this one, amino acid 4, amino acid 5, amino acid 6. So such kind of a structure is present. So this, here you can see a straight line, linear line, but here the bending takes place. Okay, that bending that occurs due to a arrangement or the generation of few bonds, like hydrogen bond is present in between them, like any other amino acids, and that leads to a bending of this structure. So the secondary structure may be flat or it may be a spiral. Usually it's a spiral like this, spiral. Such kind of arrangement. I have just drawn one spiral. Clear? This much I have shown. Clear? So it is usually a spiral shape. Or you can see a ladder like shape. You might have seen such ladder. Clear? Such kind of a structure that is going to be observed, this is called as secondary structure, and this secondary structure is due to a hydrogen bond. Apart from peptide bond, between 2 amino acids, between 2 adjacent amino acid peptide bond, this peptide bond. But along with that, the hydrogen bond is also present that leads to a bending. Okay, so the 2 amino acids can come together. So this is called as a secondary structure. Usually it is flat or it may be a spiral shape. Okay, so this is called as secondary structure. Now the tertiary structure. Tertiary structure, most of the times in living organism, the tertiary structure of protein exists. Tertiary structure means it is a 3D arrangement, three-dimensional arrangement of an amino acid in the living organism. This is called as tertiary structure. It is a three-dimensional arrangement, but three-dimensional arrangement of single polypeptide chain. This is a one polypeptide chain. Similarly, this is also one polypeptide chain. In tertiary structure, there is a presence of only one polypeptide chain and its 3D arrangement, three-dimensional arrangement. Okay, so this is called as tertiary structure. So here, few other bonds also play a role, like ionic bond, hydrogen bond, disulfide bond. Such kind of bonds are present. These are called as tertiary structure. And next, quaternary structure. It is a 3D arrangement, three-dimensional arrangement. But here, the 3D arrangement or three-dimensional arrangement of more than one polypeptide chain. See the difference between tertiary and quaternary structure. In a tertiary structure, three-dimensional arrangement of single polypeptide chain. In quaternary structure, the three-dimensional arrangement of more than one polypeptide chain. This is called as quaternary structure. Okay. Even we also have in our body the quaternary structure of a protein. Like I will tell you the example. It's hemoglobin. Hemoglobin, you might have heard this. This is going to be a red pigment present in RBC, due to which the RBC is red color, and our blood color is also red due to a presence of hemoglobin. That hemoglobin is a protein, and that is made up of how many chains? 4 chains. These 4 chains are arranged three-dimensionally, so that's why it is an example of quaternary structure. Okay, so which 4 chains are that? 2 alpha chain, બે એક સરખી હશે એટલે 2 alpha chain, and other 2 are also same, what we call it as beta chains. So 2 alpha chain and 2 beta chains, totally there are 4 chains. They are present in the hemoglobin and they arrange three-dimensional. Here more than one chain, total 4 chain, means more than one chain are present. So it is called as quaternary structure. If it is only one chain or single chain which is arranged three-dimensionally, then it is called as tertiary structure. But here more than one chain is present, so the hemoglobin is an example of quaternary structure. Okay, because here more than one chain is present. Another example I can also tell you, another example of quaternary structure is that is again very well known, chlorophyll. The chlorophyll is again a protein you can find easily in the plant, due to which the plant has a green color. That chlorophyll is a protein, and that is also quaternary structure of a protein. So ultimately there are 4 types of a structure of protein: primary structure, secondary structure, tertiary structure, quaternary structure. Primary structure is linear. The secondary structure may be flat or it may be a spiral. Tertiary structure is three-dimensional arrangement of only one polypeptide chain or single polypeptide chain. Quaternary structure, it is a three-dimensional arrangement but more than one polypeptide chain. Like for example, hemoglobin has 4 chains, 2 alpha chains and 2 beta chains. Another example is chlorophyll, which also has a more than one chain. So that's all about the structure of protein and the proteins. Okay, so students, today we have learned regarding the properties of protein, how the bond formation occurs in the protein, because the proteins are the polymer of amino acids. They join together and form a protein. And what are the different types of structure of protein? Primary, secondary, tertiary and quaternary structure. Similarly, some other larger molecules we will learn in the next session. Till then students, keep learning, keep watching, like and subscribe this channel. Thank you for watching.